It is a great privilege to welcome the Honorable Prime Minister and Sadhguru today to the Save Soil event here in Delhi as part of Sadhguru's lone motorcycle journey across the world for the rallying call of Save Soil. Welcome, Honorable Prime Minister, sir, and Sadhguru. As I mentioned, it is a landmark day in Sadhguru's 100-day, 30,000-kilometer journey for the Conscious Planet Save Soil movement to accelerate citizen support and government action policy to revitalize soil. We have both Sadhguru and the Prime Minister here, and I'd like to request our soil champion, the lone motorcyclist, the one that needs no introduction, Sadhguru, to please share his pearls of wisdom with us.
कालो न जानाति तव जननम् कालो न जानाति तव समापनम् दृष्टो मया तव महाकारः योगेश्वर काल काल योगेश्वर काल काल. Namaskaram and our heartiest welcome to our beloved Prime Minister. And many other ministers, cabinet ministers and envoys and excellencies. Namaskaram to all of you. And above all, the wonderful volunteers who have supported me every mile. As human beings, we are here on this planet just in terms of planet's life, just for a few moments. But still, how empowered we are that we can even threaten the life on this planet. This empowerment is the peak of evolution. This is what we are. We are the flower of evolution. We are the consequence of every other creature that has grown in this land, in this planet. But invested with such a sense of intelligence, with such a sense of capability, if we do not function consciously, if we do not function responsibly, our intelligence and our capabilities turn against us. This is what soil degradation is about. Soil degradation has happened, environmental damage has happened, not because there is some evil force sitting somewhere wanting to damage this planet. It is all in pursuit of human happiness and well-being that this is happening. So this is the case of a potato farmer who wanted to eat mangoes and went to the mango tree, but out of sheer habit started digging the earth looking for mangoes. When he did not find mangoes there, he became very furious and dug furiously, and slowly the tree came upon him. This is the case of humanity right now. This is where we are. So, every one of us, knowingly, unknowingly, are partners in this destruction. The only way around is every one of us have to be partners in the solution. There is simply no other way. It is from this basis that Save Soil movement was launched, and in the last 2.5 years, as I've been talking to various agricultural ministries around the world, what was shocking for me was that most agricultural ministries in the world, 85% of the nation still address soil as an inert substance that can be fixed by adding a chemical or taking out a chemical. But in this culture, we have always referred to soil as our mother. We cannot have an inert mother, we cannot have a dead mother. We need a living mother which will spawn generation after generation. It is not out of our bodies the future generations come. It is from the soil body that the future generations come and thrive. Unfortunately, we have brought that to a certain threat, but fortunately, we are in that cusp of time that if we act now in a determined way, it does not take any rocket science to fix this, nor does it take enormous amount of financial outlays. It just needs the right direction and a committed and approach, a resolute approach towards the solution. We can walk out of it, especially in our country, where 60% of our population still engaged in agricultural activity. And with a history of over 12,000 years of agricultural history in this country, where organized agriculture has been happening for over 12,000 years. But for 12,000 years, we managed our soils well. Only in the last 45 years this has happened, simply because probably the fear of famines of 1940s, the hangover of the 1940s debilitating famines, we took emergency steps to mitigate that. Well, it worked in many ways because India's average life expectancy in 1947 was 28 years. That means almost none of us have a right to exist right now by those standards. But today we have reached towards 74 or 75 years, which is a significant achievement for any nation. We have gotten here, but the steps that we took as a bridge, as an emergency step to cross over these famine-like situations, we should have rolled it back at some point. Unfortunately, we went at the same speed on the emergency scale and we have caused a certain amount of damage. It's very much possible to turn this around. And from my conversations with the Prime Minister, we know this concern is deep-rooted in his heart. It is just that we have to, as citizens of this nation, it is important you stand up and support a possibility, because these are steps which will take 10, 15, 20 years maybe to turn around fully. So when a government has to take long-term steps like this without the support of the democratic citizens, there is no way no nation can take such steps, because government's terms are usually 5 years in this country. So 5-year term and 20-year policy is a little bit of a difficulty for various reasons. So it is very important people stand up and support this. This is not a protest, this is not an agitation, this is not an expression of anger or resentment. This is an expression of our love and responsibility for the life that we are, and the life that's around us, and the life that should be beyond us. This is very, very important. Right now, what we are threatening is the future generations. Every responsible scientist in the world is pointing out, in about 60 years' time, 90% of the world's soil will be degraded. And that is not a welcome prediction. Definitely this can be turned around with the necessary policies, and it does not need enormous outlays. It needs focus, it needs resolute action, which I'm sure in this day and age, India is very much capable under the able leadership that we have, that we are competent enough to take these steps. So it is not a situation of hopelessness. It is a situation where all of us have to tighten our belt and act and move in the direction of the solution rather than moving towards a problem. Apart from this, in the world, what I have seen is, wherever I traveled in the last 2.5, 3 years' time, meeting many people, environmental ministers, agriculture ministers and various bureaucrats, everybody knows the problem. Everybody generally knows what is the solution. So what I grasped from this was, everybody knows the problem, everybody knows the solution, but they're just waiting for an idiot to bell the cat. So here I am, I thought. because the problem is known to everybody in the world. All UN agencies are very conversant with the problem, most nations are very conversant with the problem, but somehow there was a silence. Fortunately, in the last 75 days, it is India 75, it's my great privilege, in 75 days I'm in New Delhi. In the last 75 days, 74 nations have come on board for safe soil policy. 2.4 billion people have expressed their concern for soil, which has been never before. So once people want it, how can we stop it? Definitely it will happen. The most important aspect of this Save Soil movement is, it is not against anybody. It is not against any industry, it is not against any lobby, it is not against anybody. I've been talking to fertilizer industries, pesticides, herbicides. They're saying, are you against us? I say, I'm only against suicide. I'm not against any other side. It is not anybody's business to tell the farmer how he should farm. All we want is keep the soil alive, keep the soil rich. Is a farmer against a rich soil? No. Just that farmer's economy has been so fragile, any change he's afraid of. If an incentive-based policy is pushed, definitely most farmers will respond in a very, very positive way. We are very sure about this because we have spoken extensively to farming community around the world, and we find everybody is absolutely positive about this. It is just that they need incentive support, which doesn't cost much in this country. Just something as simple as bringing cover crops, which were very much a part of our culture just 45 to 50 years ago. Just bringing cover crops will make the organic content in the soil go up to 3% within 6 to 8 years' time. Only cover crops in summer can do that because it will add 1.5 to 2 inches of humus every year, and it will solve this problem. This is a very simple approach. If we want to do it more aggressively, then it may cost more money. But to do it in the simplest possible way is cover crop. Why I'm saying cover crop is, right now it's the month of May. If you fly across India, you will see, except Western Ghats and northeastern part of India, largely it looks like a brown desert. This is not how India should look. Whatever the season, there must be green leaf on the land, and this was the way India's farming used to be. This is the way the wisdom of the farming community used to work, but unfortunately, we have dropped these things for whatever reasons. Instead of looking for who is to be blamed, instead of looking for what is the problem, who caused the problem, all of us are the problem, and all of us should become the solution. Thank you very much. Once again, thank you, sir, for being here. If I can say one, as the Prime Minister has taken up the Solar Alliance, I think there's an immense opportunity. After talking to various leaders around the world, I realize India and the Prime Minister of India could take up the leadership of soil regeneration in India and the world. The global leadership for soil regeneration, starting with G20, considering we are going to have the stewardship of G20 in the coming year. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sadhguru, for your enlightening words. And as mentioned by him, the Save Soil movement has already touched 2.5 billion people, and 74 countries have agreed to act to save soil. This is a movement that has united the world, a mission that has brought people together across the globe to commonly address, because it concerns each of us, everyone on earth. His message is simple. Saving soil is necessary to maintain life on our planet. As occupants of a shared planet, we have the unique opportunity now to be part of the solutions for crises like soil extinction and desertification. Here's presenting to you a video that explains the science behind the Save Soil campaign.
what we are facing now is soil extinction. In most countries, more than 50% of the topsoil is already gone. And every responsible scientist in the world is clearly saying by 2045, we will be producing 40% less food. 300,000 farmers committed suicide. What else does it take to stir your humanity? UNFAO is saying the food that we are eating belongs to the unborn child. Eating away the food of that life is the worst possible way to live, isn't it? It is agreed by all scientific communities, minimum 3% organic content is essential to keep the organisms fed in the soil. So this is what we must aim at, an incentive-based policy where if you get the land to 3% organic content, you will get a certain amount of incentive.
Ladies and gentlemen, as I mentioned earlier, several years ago, the Honorable Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi, had launched a nationwide scheme to help farmers to prevent soil deterioration through balanced use of fertilizers and the application of the right nutrients. The Honorable Prime Minister's foresight, vision, and commitment to the global efforts to restore and rejuvenate our planet and soil in particular from extinction is exceptional. I'd like to request the Honorable Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi ji, to please address the gathering.
नमस्कार। आप सभी को, पूरे विश्व को विश्व पर्यावरण दिवस की बहुत बहुत शुभकामनाएं। सद्गुरु और ईशा फाउंडेशन भी आज बधाई के पात्र हैं। मार्च में उनकी संस्था ने सेव सॉइल अभियान की शुरुआत की थी। 27 देशों से होते हुए उनकी यात्रा और 75वें दिन यहाँ पहुंची है। आज जब देश अपनी आजादी के 75वें वर्ष का पर्व मना रहा है, इस अमृत काल में नए संकल्प ले रहा है, तो इस तरह के जन अभियान बहुत अहम हो जाते हैं। साथियों, मुझे संतोष है कि देश में पिछले 8 साल में जो योजनाएं चल रही हैं, जो भी प्रोग्राम चल रहे हैं, सभी में किसी न किसी रूप से पर्यावरण संरक्षण का आग्रह है। स्वच्छ भारत मिशन हो या वेस्ट टू वेल्थ से जुड़े कार्यक्रम, अमृत मिशन के तहत शहरों में आधुनिक सीवेज ट्रीटमेंट प्लांट्स का निर्माण हो या फिर सिंगल यूज प्लास्टिक से मुक्ति का अभियान, या नमामि गंगे के तहत गंगा स्वच्छता का अभियान, वन सन वन ग्रिड सोलर एनर्जी पर फोकस हो या इथेनॉल के उत्पादन और ब्लेंडिंग, दोनों में वृद्धि, पर्यावरण रक्षा के भारत के प्रयास बहुआयामी रहे हैं। और भारत ये प्रयास तब तक कर रहा है जब दुनिया ने, आज जो क्लाइमेट के लिए दुनिया परेशान है, उस बर्बादी में हम लोगों की भूमिका नहीं है, हिंदुस्तान की भूमिका नहीं है। विश्व के बड़े और आधुनिक देश न केवल धरती के ज्यादा से ज्यादा संसाधन का दोहन कर रहे हैं, बल्कि सबसे ज्यादा कार्बन एमिशन भी उन्हीं के खाते में जाता है। कार्बन एमिशन का ग्लोबल औसत प्रति व्यक्ति 4 टन का है, जबकि भारत में प्रति व्यक्ति कार्बन फुटप्रिंट प्रतिवर्ष आधे टन के आसपास ही है। कहां 4 टन और कहां आधे टन। बावजूद इसके भारत पर्यावरण की दिशा में एक होलिस्टिक अप्रोच के साथ न केवल देश के भीतर बल्कि वैश्विक समुदाय के साथ भी जुड़ करके काम कर रहा है। अंतर्राष्ट्रीय स्तर पर भारत ने कोएलिशन फॉर डिजास्टर रेजिलिएंट इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर CDRI और जैसे अभी सदगुरु जी ने कहा इंटरनेशनल सोलर अलायंस ISA के निर्माण का नेतृत्व किया है। पिछले वर्ष भारत ने यह भी संकल्प लिया है कि भारत 2070 तक नेट जीरो का लक्ष्य हासिल करेगा। साथियों, मिट्टी या ये भूमि हमारे लिए पंच तत्वों में से एक है। हम माटी को गर्व के साथ अपने माथे से लगाते हैं। इसी में गिरते हुए खेलते हुए हम बड़े होते हैं। माटी के सम्मान में कोई कमी नहीं है। माटी की अहमियत को समझने में कोई कमी नहीं है। कमी इस बात को स्वीकारने में है कि मानव जाति जो कर रही है उससे मिट्टी को कितना नुकसान हो रहा है, उसकी समझ का एक गैप रह गया है। और अभी सदगुरु जी कह रहे थे कि सबको पता है समस्या क्या है। हम लोग जब छोटे थे तो सिलेबस में किताब में एक पाठ्यक्रम के में एक पाठ पढ़ाया जाता था। गुजराती में मैंने पढ़ा है, बाकियों ने अपनी भाषा में पढ़ा हो शायद। कहीं रास्ते पर एक पत्थर पड़ा था, लोग जा रहे थे, कोई गुस्सा कर रहा था, कोई उस पर लात मार देता था। सब कहते थे देखिए किसने पत्थर रखा, कहाँ से पत्थर आया, दे समझते नहीं वगैरह। लेकिन कोई उसको उठा करके साइड में नहीं रखता था। एक सज्जन निकले, उनको लगा कि चलो भाई सदगुरु जैसा कोई आ गया होगा। हमारे यहाँ युधिष्ठिर और दुर्योधन के भेद की जब चर्चा होती है तो दुर्योधन के विषय में जब कहा जाता है तो यही कहता है कि जाना भी धर्म न च में प्रवृत्ति। मैं धर्म को जानता हूं लेकिन मेरी प्रवृत्ति नहीं, मैं नहीं कर सकता हूं। सत्य क्या है मुझे मालूम है, लेकिन मैं उस रास्ते पर नहीं चल सकता हूं। तो समाज में जब ऐसी प्रवृत्ति बढ़ जाती है तो ऐसा संकट आता है तो एक सामूहिक अभियान से समस्याओं के समाधान के लिए रास्ते खोजने होते हैं। मुझे खुशी है कि बीते 8 वर्षों में देश ने मिट्टी को जीवंत बनाए रखने के लिए निरंतर काम किया है। मिट्टी को बचाने के लिए हमने 5 प्रमुख बातों पर फोकस किया है। पहला, मिट्टी को केमिकल फ्री कैसे बनाएं। दूसरा, मिट्टी में जो जीव रहते हैं जिन्हें तकनीकी भाषा में आप लोग सॉइल ऑर्गेनिक मैटर कहते हैं, उन्हें कैसे बचाएं। और तीसरा, मिट्टी की नमी को कैसे बनाए रखें, उस तक जल की उपलब्धता कैसे बढ़ाएं। चौथा, भूजल कम होने की वजह से मिट्टी को जो नुकसान हो रहा है उसे कैसे दूर करें, और पांचवा, वनों का दायरा कम होने से मिट्टी का जो लगातार क्षरण हो रहा है उसे कैसे रोकें। साथियों, इन सब बातों को ध्यान में रखते हुए ही देश में बीते वर्षों में जो सबसे बड़ा बदलाव हुआ है वो है देश की कृषि नीति में। पहले हमारे देश के किसान के पास इस जानकारी का अभाव था कि उसकी मिट्टी किस प्रकार की है, उसकी मिट्टी में कौन सी कमी है, कितनी कमी है। इस समस्या को दूर करने के लिए देश में किसानों को सॉइल हेल्थ कार्ड देने का बहुत बड़ा अभियान चलाया गया। अगर हम किसी को, मनुष्य को हेल्थ कार्ड दें ना, तो भी अखबार में हेडलाइन बन जाएगी कि मोदी सरकार ने कुछ अच्छा काम किया। ये देश ऐसा है जो सॉइल हेल्थ कार्ड दे रहा है, लेकिन मीडिया की नजर अभी कम है। पूरे देश में 22 करोड़ से ज्यादा सॉइल हेल्थ कार्ड किसानों को दिए गए, और सिर्फ कार्ड ही नहीं दिए बल्कि देश भर में सॉइल टेस्टिंग से जुड़ा एक बहुत बड़ा नेटवर्क भी तैयार हुआ।